My name is Suleiman Mourad. I'm a professor of religion at Smith College, and I've been a fellow before here at the Institut d'études avancées. And I found myself coming back several times for visits and for activities and conferences. And finally, I was nominated as an associate fellow, and I'll assume that role as of next year. I was lucky to receive a short residency for 2 months this year, which were extremely helpful for my own writing and research project. What interests me a lot about the EUA is the fact that it is a very hybrid, intellectually motivating space. It's a place where one gets to test some of their ideas and thoughts about their own research projects, get lots of feedback, but more importantly, it's a domain of serious exchange between the global north with all its hegemonic approach to learning and the global south, where people more and more are becoming partners and decision makers in the formation of knowledge. And it is very refreshing to see that kind of perspective. In my own research, I find this extremely helpful. My project is partly to try to look into a period and the topic of violence and non-violence in Islam through several periods. There is a period of what we call the formation at the beginning and what we call the foundational text, the Quran, the Hadith. And there is another period which is very important, is a period of the Crusades that witnessed heightened level of violence between Muslims and Europeans. And there is a modern period. And I try to look at these periods with the question, what did the historians leave out? What did they not pay attention to as a result of the conceptions of the fields of history, which helps us a lot when we approach the study of a topic from particular mindset. It helps us a lot, but sometimes it blinds us also from other aspects. And that's precisely what I find refreshing and stimulating about the UR, is you come and you talk to different specialists who might precisely point you in directions that we haven't investigated as historians. So you have the anthropologist, you have the legal scholar, you have the literature person, you have the philosopher, and they approach things a little differently. And you add to this the real mass that you have from scholars from the global south, who also bring a different dimension to this, which is they don't necessarily come to it with what we often call the Euro-American conventions about knowledge. This is what's called the anthropology of knowledge. That is the human experience behind why we seek to know certain things and why we seek to study certain things. And often I find my conversations with colleagues from the global south, from India, from Africa, tremendously helpful for me in pointing me or inspiring me in ways that I haven't thought before. So for me, is precisely that ideal oasis of knowledge that I like to come back to in order to get the intellectual and stimulating kind of nourishment. And that's why I thought to be affiliated with UR as an associate fellow. On one hand, it's extremely helpful for me to do my research in this environment, in this very nurturing environment. There is also another one that I feel as scholars, especially in the humanities, we are more and more devalued, broadly speaking, and we are asked to be more subservient to a much more dominant discourse of science. And therefore, it's very helpful for us to assist in strengthening the institutions that help us do our research. So I feel very honored that I'm taking that role now as associate fellow to help the UR shape itself through the challenges, partake in the fundraising, partake in the activities that the Institute does in order for it to be better equipped to face the challenges of the years to come. I think if more of us in the humanities pay attention to that additional level, often we benefit tremendously from institutes like the UA, but we also need to think of how we can also support them. It won't take us much. It won't take much out of our time, but also it will reap tremendous benefit for us and for our colleagues to recreate those experiences that we tremendously benefit from.